Hello everyone and welcome back to my F1 2020 career mode for the round in Brazil, the penultimate round of the championship. The title fight really heating up between Verstappen, Bottas and Hamilton's number 33, 77 and 44. Speaking of number 44, and I don't normally say stuff like this, but I would appreciate it if you subscribed and moved me off of that cursed number and try and get me to 47. That is a much better number in Formula 1 these days. But yeah, that would really appreciate that. But anyway, on with the video. So this is immediately after practice. We're going to go for an upgrade heading into the final round. It will just get on in time if we fix this major chassis upgrade. So we're going to go for that because we've got enough resource points now to fix the rest of these upgrades anyway. With the ones we're going to get from Abu Dhabi, that won't be a problem. So we're going to do that and then head into qualifying itself. And it's raining in qualifying, so that is going to throw a curveball. It could catch out some of the drivers, including some of the title contenders. So we'll see how things go. We finish our flying lap at the end of the session when things do dry up. So we'll see if the conditions caught anyone out, if they didn't set a good enough lap, or if they didn't set a lap late enough in the session as we go to the end. We are through with the third fastest time. Lance Stroll doing a good job. Second fastest, Kvyat through as well. But as we scroll down through the order, Bottas is through, Verstappen is through, but where is Lewis Hamilton? He's not in the top 14, he's not 15th, he is out in Q1, down in 19th position, trying to get through on the intermediate tyres. It didn't work out for him, only ahead of Antonio Giovinazzi, and Hamilton will be starting this race from the last row of the grid. What a disaster for one of the title contenders. That is a huge change in this title fight, and a huge shift in the balance of things. That really throws things back into Valtteri Bottas' favour. Lewis Hamilton in the championship lead, but that could change very much so in this next one. But now Verstappen is out in Q2, so that is another huge change in this title fight. Verstappen, that is not what he needed if he wants any chance of staying in the fight after this round. He's currently, I think, in second position in the title fight, but yeah, that is not what was on the cards for Max Verstappen. But anyway, that is the cards he has been dealt now, and that is a huge blow for him. Valtteri Bottas, the only title contender into this final round of qualifying, which incidentally we are also taking part in. So let's focus on the lap that we are currently setting. A bit of a wobble there through turn 4 and 5, but we do manage to keep things under control and can march on with our qualifying lap. The car feeling alright around this circuit, not quite comfortable with the track just yet, but we are still getting up to speed and still just trying to get used to this track. It is one of those circuits where I always take a bit of time to get up to speed, so even by Q3 and through practice, it's just not enough time. During the race I'll be getting faster and faster, so we'll wait for that. But we're coming around to finish our qualifying lap. DRS open towards the line. Where are we going to qualify for the Brazilian Grand Prix?
With qualifying finished, it's time to remind ourselves of our top three: the scientist, Perez and Valtteri Bottas. With qualifying complete, all that remains is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the Grand Prix tomorrow, so make sure you join us then.
So there we have it. It is pole position for us for the Brazilian Grand Prix. Bottas doing a good job to get into third position, a lot better than his title rivals. But it's very interesting that we got pole by almost a second. How on earth have we managed that? That is insane. Everyone else went slower in this session than the last one. You would expect them to go faster, and obviously we found some extra pace, but for whatever reason they couldn't match the laps they did earlier in qualifying, and they've been a long way off in this one. So it's interesting to see. Bottas definitely could have done better. He should be going faster than that racing point of Sergio Perez, but maybe he got traffic or something went wrong on his lap. But whatever the case, it was a very slow session for the other 9 drivers in the field. But yeah, unusual grid, but that will mean we have an exciting race, so let's get into it.
Welcome along then to the place where heroes and history are made. It's where the 2008 title was decided in the final corner. And it's the place, a year later, that Jenson Button stormed through from 14th on the grid to claim his one and only Drivers' Championship. It's Interlagos, and it's time for the Brazilian Grand Prix. It's an unusual anti-clockwise race here at Interlagos, where the Sao Paulo locals are packed into the grandstands at each of the 15 corners around this classic 2.7-mile circuit. Two very fast sections bookend the famous and highly technical Sector 2, where getting a good run out of Junsao into one of the two DRS zones will be the key to any overtaking prospects today. Anthony Davidson also joins me in the commentary box today. Now, can I talk to you about Sebastian Vettel? As ever, the threat of unreliability is never far away, and indeed they'll be starting out of position today due to a power unit component change. So it's going to be a difficult task to move forward from there.
Everyone has to deal with penalties or reliability issues from time to time throughout their career. You just have to suck up the pain and get on with the job at hand. Today isn't about performing a miracle to put the car back where it should be. It's about effective damage limitation.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. The scientist lines up on pole position. Sergio Perez lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Bottas, Leclerc. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Lance Stroll and Ocon, Ricciardo, Sainz, Russell and Daniel Kvyat, Latifi, Vettel, Romain GROSJEAN and Albon, Hamilton, Magnussen, Antonio Giovinazzi and Max Verstappen. Norris and Kimi Räikkönen finishes off the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
The boss wants another points finish this weekend. Let's give it everything.
All you want is a points finish. I think we've got that covered in this one, but rain at the end of this race, so that is going to make things very interesting. The strategy will be softs to mediums to softs, as I think that last stint will be on the intermediates, so we won't need to worry about those last set of softs anyway. And we'll just go on to the mediums to make sure that they last until the rain comes. I'm not exactly sure when that will be, but anyway, we go to the 5 red lights. And away we go for the Brazilian Grand Prix from pole position on the grid. And we've gotten away pretty well, and we're not going to be challenged into the first corner. We leave a bit of gap on the inside just to make sure that we don't get a punt, but we do maintain the lead as we head through the center S for the first time and are on to the Retto Aposta straight. We've got the lead, and they're battling behind already. Sergio Perez looking to the inside to defend from the charging Charles Leclerc. Around the outside, the Ferrari goes as they go side by side. A huge lose at the back end for Perez, but he somehow manages to hold on and maintain the position. What a save from Sergio Perez. Great driving from him there. Here's the replay in slow motion right out sideways, and he manages to gather it back up and not lose control. Very easy to spin back to the outside there. Great reaction time by Charles Leclerc not to slam into the back of Sergio Perez, as well as he was getting his car back in order. There's the huge slide, just putting down too much power on the exit there. But a great save there by Sergio Perez. Here's the onboard of us looking backwards at the massive slide there, and that is incredible stuff by Sergio Perez to not only maintain control but also maintain the position. But as for us, not much happening in our world, going deep into the first corner, but that shouldn't compromise us too much, as we do have a gap by then to the next group of cars, but we will have to watch out we don't make that mistake too many times. But as we continue on, this is on board with Danny Kvyat, and that is Sebastian Vettel and George Russell battling away up ahead, and it looks like Russell's got the straight line speed advantage in the Williams there, but Vettel surely will be faster through the corners as they bang wheels, and Vettel continuing to fight around the outside, and he will just about get the move done on George Russell as they head towards the right-hander, and Vettel is through ahead of George Russell, who was in a very much elevated grid position. But now Kvyat is going himself for a move on George Russell, then gets it done in a straight line. No issues there for the Russian. But as we continue on, this is Lewis Hamilton looking at the back of Alexander Albon, and he is going to try and make a move. They're 3 wide with Nicholas Latifi as they head up towards turn 1. Albon holds on with a bit of a lock-up. Hamilton a little bit more held up by Latifi, but he does get through on the Williams, and that is Hamilton through, but this is Daniel Ricciardo versus Lance Stroll through the center S. Ricciardo very close to bumping into him on the apex there. They're side by side, great job not to make any contact though, and Esteban Ocon getting involved, the other Renault, as they're heading up towards turn 4. Ricciardo is through, Ocon around the outside of Lance Stroll, but Stroll is just going to hold on to that position. And meanwhile, back in our world, a mistake into the first corner, once again running deep, going fully off circuit this time, but no harm done. There's a runoff there, and we're able to rejoin without losing too much time, as we do have a gap to the next car by now. But Stroll under pressure again from Esteban Ocon, who's around the outside, but again they're going to run side by side through the center S, very close to contact, and here we are on board with Carlos Sainz. Ocon with a better exit, and we'll have the DRS advantage as they head up, but Stroll also with the rear wing open as they head towards turn 4, and he's just about going to hold off Esteban Ocon and cut him off on the exit there, and maintain that position. Good job Lance Stroll to hold on to that. But meanwhile, we've got Lewis Hamilton versus George Russell, and he's going to make the move up the inside of the Williams. No, he's not. Hamilton getting held up a lot there. That's going to be very costly, because now he's going to be stuck behind the Williams for an entire lap. And with due respect to George Russell, he is not fast in that Williams, and that's going to be costly for Hamilton as he finally gets the move done up towards the turn 1, but that's almost a full lap behind the Williams, losing time. But here's Max Verstappen making the move on Nicholas Latifi, so Verstappen making the move through the field as well. Here's a quick check-in with the race positions, and Verstappen is up into 14th, Lewis Hamilton up into 12th, Valtteri Bottas in 4th position, losing a spot to Charles Leclerc off the start. So that's a quick check-in with how things are going for the rest of the field. And for us, we're still in the race lead, getting a bit of gap out to the next car, Sergio Perez, and we're just minding our own business really. But as we continue on a fastest lap, but a little bit too fast as we headed into the first corner, and I think we touched the grass a little bit on the right hand side. That sent us off circuit with the wheels locked there. But there we go. That is another mistake for us at that first corner. Going to start costing us if we do that too many more times. But we get away with it once again. And there is the replay of what happened. But here is Max Verstappen trying to make the move on George Russell as they head up towards turn 1. He gets the move done before they even get to the corner. Verstappen very efficiently getting through the traffic in this one, up into 13th position for him. But continuing on then for us. We're still minding our own business out in front, but it is gaining.
Careful, we think you're going to start losing some tyre grip around now.
Yeah, getting to the point these tyres are going to start wearing. But meanwhile, we've got Lewis Hamilton making the move on Alexander Albon as they head up towards the first corner. Side by side, Albon is going to try and hold off Hamilton to help his Red Bull teammate. That is Max Verstappen there. So they have. He's done a good job to hold off Hamilton so far, but will he be able to hold him off in a straight line as they head up towards turn 4? Hamilton surely will have the straight line speed with the Mercedes power unit. Albon is still fighting him on the inside line. Verstappen will be getting involved very shortly, and they're still going up towards the very complicated middle sector. They're going to lose a lot of time if they go side by side here, but they still fight side by side. It's incredible stuff for Albon to keep this fight going with Hamilton, but eventually the Mercedes will come out on top. But a valiant effort for Albon. But here comes Max Verstappen then. You would imagine team orders would prevail at Red Bull, and Albon will let this position go. But they're going to run side by side into the first corner, and they almost touch. That is very, very aggressive defense from Albon, considering his teammate is in the title fight. But Albon is going to hold on, and that is not what Verstappen wants, and not what Red Bull wants. So Albon really probably disobeying team orders there to try and beat his more experienced teammate. But yeah, that is very strange stuff for Albon to be doing that. But as we continue on then, the battles continue up and down the field. This is Hamilton on Sebastian Vettel as they run side by side through the center S, and it looks like Hamilton will get the advantage, but Vettel still keeping the fight going on the inside line. We'll see how the straight line speed compares, but it looks like Lewis Hamilton will get the move done around the outside here, and he does close it off. Hamilton ahead as Albon still holds up Max Verstappen, so that is not great news. The shot we saw before of Danny Kvyat going to the pits, he's the first one to stop, and he's onto the medium tyres. We're going to mirror that strategy a couple of laps later. and we're on to our own set of medium tyres, and they will carry us through to the pit stop onto intermediate tyres whenever that comes. But surely with the rain at the end of the race, that will come at some point. That is what we are banking on with this strategy. So as we rejoin the circuit, we rejoin behind Carlos Sainz and just ahead of Lewis Hamilton. So that is decent track position for us, considering we've made a pit stop, and that is probably not what Hamilton wants to see. A car who's already made a stop coming out of the pits in front of him. That's just the field spread for you, at least in this race. But we had a little look on Carlos Sainz, didn't make a move into the final corner, and in fact Sainz goes into the pits, so that wouldn't have been particularly fruitful for us anyway. But as we continue on then, we just need to make the most of these tyres until it starts raining. That is really what we have to do in this race. Not really a lot for us to really play for at this point. We're not battling these cars around us, so we might as well just mind our own business. We had a gap, so we just need to get through these cars whenever we can. But other than that, we don't really need to be too concerned about them. But as we have a look at a replay of the move on Ocon, last minute little look to the inside there and got the move done. So yeah, we are getting through these cars anyway, and we do have the pace with the fresh tyres. But a mistake there into the first corner, yet another one. It's really becoming costly for us, because that's cost us a good exit here, and no chance of overtaking the racing point of Lance Stroll. Valtteri BOTTAS, I just noticed, actually started the race on medium tyres, so as we go up the inside of Lance Stroll, that would explain why he got a bad getaway off the line, losing the position to Leclerc. But that could really change his race, and he might be able to do an overcut on the rest of us, or he might be able to go until the rain starts if he feels like stretching those tyres a really long way, or if the rain comes relatively early in this race. We'll see how that plays out for Bottas, but a split strategy for him, and that will make things very, very interesting. So yeah, we'll have to see how that plays out. But here's another quick check-in with the how the race is playing out. We're currently in second position with Perez and Stroll yet to stop, so the field is not quite as it should be, and the McLaren of Lando Norris also yet to stop. But still, there is proof there that the title contenders are making their way forwards. That is Charles Leclerc making the move on Lance Stroll and getting up into third, but he's not in the same race as Lance Stroll. So Stroll still needs to make another stop. So the racing points going long as the rain is coming in about 15 minutes apparently. That first call you always hear about the rain he always says a little bit earlier than it really is. So not going to get too excited. It will be a little bit longer than that in general, but it is good to know that the rain is still coming later on in this race. So that is good information for us, and it means that these tyres will likely go the distance. There is Sergio Perez going into the pits. We almost caught up to him, so we've almost got a pit stop lead over Sergio Perez. It'll be interesting to see where he rejoins after stretching those tyres so long at the start of this race. But anyway, that is not really the battle we're concerned about anymore, because Charles Leclerc is now up into second position, Daniel Ricciardo, Valtteri BOTTAS in fourth, Lewis Hamilton has got all the way up to sixth in that pit stop phase, with Max Verstappen in eighth. But as we continue on, you can see that is Sebastian Vettel behind him. So I missed your overtake frustratingly, but Max Verstappen is now ahead and up into seventh position, and that is good news for him. His next target is Lewis Hamilton. But a fastest lap of the race for us as we continue through this race, and that is really well timed for us, because you can see it's very cloudy at this point in the race, and as we continue on to this lap, it is now the light rain conditions, and we will be switching to the inters very soon. So we've pretty much locked in the fastest lap. It's going to rain for the rest of the race, and with still 30 laps to go, 43.2 seconds. It is going to be a long old time on the intermediate tyres as well. So yeah, that is a huge question mark in this race. Another one is our pace in the rain. I don't know how good it will be around this circuit. It's been dry all weekend, other than in Q1. so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But here we go with Esteban Ocon making the move on Alexander Albon. So Albon really losing some pace towards the back end of this race, and Ocon is through, and both Renaults having a great time here, so that is good for their sake.
A new strategy is available on the MFD.
But now with a new strategy available, surely that means it's time to come in for the intermediate tyres here in Brazil, as we have to be very cautious on the way into pit lane. We just about get the car stopped as we're almost losing control through the chicane there, and we are going on to the intermediate tyres for the remainder of this race. So this is the interesting part. How will our pace be? We had the measure of the rest of the field so far in this one, and it looked like the win was really beyond doubt, but that is really going to change in these conditions. Anything can happen. We could be faster, we could be slower, as we have enough trouble getting out of pit lane itself. That shows you how much water there is sitting on the circuit. These tyres are already struggling to move it out of the way, but Charles Leclerc, Daniel Ricciardo and Valtteri Bottas opting not to pit on that lap, so that could change the face of this race, as the stewards now disable DRS after they have rounded the final real corner. So if they can navigate these high-speed last 3 corners, they could just about get away with this, if that is the true crossover point where the DRS is disabled, but it's generally not quite a representative point. So they could get an advantage, they could get a huge disadvantage if it was too slow on the slick tyres in the latter half of the lap. And we are going to re-emerge in the race lead, taking it from Charles Leclerc through the Centre S as he is exiting pit lane. But the real interesting battle is between Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas, Carlos Sainz, and that lot where they were all battling before. So here we go. This is Valtteri Bottas exiting pit lane behind Charles Leclerc. That hasn't changed, but we go on board with Lewis Hamilton, and Bottas does get out ahead of Carlos Sainz, so he will just about maintain his position, but that could have been a badly timed pit stop for Valtteri Bottas. I'll get there eventually, as we go up the inside of Kevin Magnussen as he exits pit lane, not really willing to give up the spot there, as he is a lap down. He should have moved out of the way a little bit more easily than that, and he's still not moving out of the way of the cars behind either. So Kevin Magnussen getting very feisty in this race, but for us, you can see we are struggling for grip in these conditions. Everyone is, of course, but we seem to just be hitting a wall of understeer at every corner, losing the back end there as well. So yeah, we're really not having a good time of things, unfortunately. Even though we are in the race lead, it's getting to be a very long and frustrating end to this race. So we'll have to just do the best job we can and try and hold up the likes of Charles Leclerc, Daniel Ricciardo, who's done a great job in this race so far to be up on the podium. And the energy recovery in the rain is insane. We literally cannot even burn it all, especially when we can't even deploy full power, or we will end up in a barrier in these conditions. So that is not an issue for us in terms of energy management. But as we continue on, we are still struggling going wide here, and that is going to give an opportunity to Charles Leclerc as he's around the outside through the middle sector. We have a big slide on the exit, and that might just allow him up the inside. We have to leave the space, 2 wheels on the grass on the entry to Albon corner, and Leclerc is through and up and into the lead. We'll see if we can get a good run on him as we head onto the straight. This will be our only opportunity as we have a look up the inside. No, we're not going to make a move there, and we've got a lot of understeer and a lot of trouble through that corner, and we're not going to be able to come back at Charles Leclerc. He's got the race lead here in Brazil, and he might just hold on to this one as we struggle. So as we continue on then,
Rain's getting worse. Be very careful.
rain getting even worse, and so is our pace in this race. And we're looking on board with Kevin Magnussen here, and that is a send on the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton, and then he pulls out the way and lets the rest of that train of cars past. So I'm not sure what K-Mag was doing there, but he's been very weird in this race, it has to be said. But we're continuing to try and defend as best we can from the cars behind. Daniel Ricciardo looking very speedy, and we're just parking it on the apex of every corner to try and hold on to second position in this race. The lead is well and truly gone. There's no way we can take home that position, but we're still in a shot for a podium, so that is the maximum we can hope for in this race. So we're just going to try our best to make sure we bring that home. But this first two corners, the center S, is causing us so many issues. We can just never get it right. Now Ricciardo's around the outside as we head through turn 3. We're just about going to hold on to the position, and now they are all battling behind SAINZ, looking down the inside of Valtteri BOTTAS as we are still trying to defend from Daniel Ricciardo through turn 4. SAINZ, I think, has gone through there, so he will have a look on board with BOTTAS. He had nowhere to go as we were going side by side. There's SAINZ, cheeky but aggressive, getting up the inside and making the move on Valtteri BOTTAS. That is another position down for BOTTAS and a few points lost in his title fight. SAINZ gets past us as well, so good job by Carlos Sainz up into second position. Meanwhile, Valtteri BOTTAS getting past Daniel Ricciardo and up into fourth for him, so that position gained once again for him. But into the first corner, we're going to go around the outside of SAINZ, squirt the throttle into turn 2, just about get the wheel on the inside, try and force some space for us, and we will just about get back up into second position ahead of Carlos Sainz. So good effort as we lose the back end about 15 times on the exit of turn 3. We will just about hold on and get that second position back and move ourselves up into the 18 points we will get for this position if we can hold on for the rest of the race. But as we continue on, Carlos Sainz will not give up, and he goes around the outside as we head towards the first corner. We're going to be later on the brakes though as we dive for the apex and just about hold off Carlos Sainz, and that is about the best we've driven that corner throughout the entire race. But this turn 3 also causing us so many issues and running a little bit wide. But this is Valtteri BOTTAS now going for a move on Carlos Sainz down the inside, and he will just about get there as long as he doesn't run into us. Luckily we did spot him coming there and leave some room on the apex, and that is Valtteri BOTTAS up into third position as we continue on though very deep. And Valtteri BOTTAS is going to have an opportunity here as we run off circuit, but he's going to have to go the long way around. Round the outside he goes though, through this long sweeping right-hander. He gets the move done. Great drive there from Valtteri BOTTAS, and that is the grip difference he has in that Mercedes. The drive he had around that corner is insane compared to us. We just have nothing to compare with him. But we got the inside of Romain GROSJEAN, who is a lap down very deep into turn 1 though, and we run off circuit once again after trying to rejoin the circuit, and we do just that. But we've got a hit from GROSJEAN, spun around sideways. We've just about managed to control the car. The curb saves us there. Sainz and Ricciardo are through, and we've just about held on ahead of Lewis Hamilton. What on earth happened there? We just chopped off in front of GROSJEAN just slightly, and that turned us around. But thankfully we were able to maintain control of the car. Unbelievable. I can't believe we didn't end up in the barrier. Here's the onboard with GROSJEAN. We did cut him off, but he was also a lap down, so you can see that either way. That was a bit of a dangerous re-entry onto the circuit, but at the same time GROSJEAN shouldn't be fighting for that position. Here's the onboard with Carlos Sainz, and he was very lucky to split the middle there and make his way through and not get involved in that incident, as the same with Daniel Ricciardo. He was actually looking for a move on Sainz, but GROSJEAN was in the way. Whoa, Hamilton we had to react a bit there too, and he was also looking for a move on us. But as we move on, Max Verstappen now looking for a move on Lewis Hamilton. Along the straight to the outside he goes as we look backwards from our POV, and Verstappen gets the move done before the corner. Great work there by Verstappen as we run deep, trying to defend from these two, but we lose traction on the exit as we head through turn 3, and Verstappen's through, so is Hamilton, and we are a little bit pushed out off circuit there by Hamilton. We switch back to the inside to see if we can get at least one of these positions back, get ourselves in between the sister team car of the Red Bull of Max Verstappen, and we do just that, and get back ahead of Hamilton, and that will help out Max Verstappen in the title fight and get a few extra points in his favour. That is our target at the moment in this race. We can't really get a decent result for ourselves, but we can help Verstappen in his bid for the title. So if we can hold up Lewis Hamilton, that will help. And even Sebastian Vettel has actually got past Hamilton. I don't exactly know how that happened. Maybe we pushed him wide through turn 4. I'm not sure exactly what played out there, but either way, Sebastian Vettel has got ahead of Hamilton as well, and that's actually saved us because Vettel's pace hasn't been quite as good as Hamilton's, and has helped us stay ahead of the two of them. If it was just Hamilton behind, I'm not sure we could have held him off much longer, but yeah, Sebastian Vettel doing the job and holding up Lewis Hamilton, and all we have to do is worry about Vettel. He is faster than us, but not by as much of a margin as Hamilton, so he's fast enough to hold off Hamilton, and we are fast enough to hold off Vettel, and it's kind of working out for us in that way. This middle sector is really the only part that we are really struggling with, but as long as we can keep it near enough to the racing line, we are not really under any pressure from Sebastian Vettel. Going a little bit deep though into this same corner. We have to slow right up on the exit. Vettel is a little bit held up. He's not able to make the move though, and not able to take advantage of a compromise line for us. But here's a good story from the race though. The race winner Charles Leclerc crosses the line. Great drive by him, and that will make him a very happy man in that Ferrari. But for us, it's P6, and fairly disappointing result, honestly, from pole position.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Ferme.
The rain really affected our race for the worse, unfortunately. But driver of the day goes to Max Verstappen. He passed a lot of cars in this one.
Here's our winner, pulling their Ferrari into Parc Ferme. What a fantastic race it was. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
Well, they clearly have a car that comes alive in the kind of conditions we were dealing with today. It's a very balanced package in the wet, and what that means is that the drivers had confidence to attack. And having that confidence gets you on the power earlier, it lets you brake later, and can put you a long way up the road.
Ferrari are at it again, an excellent performance at today's Grand Prix, and they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there.
So it is Charles Leclerc who takes the race victory today. Great drive from the Ferrari man to hold his nerve in the wet conditions. Valtteri Bottas brings a very important result home for him in the title fight, and Carlos Sainz will round off the podium.
Let's see what effect this result has had on the drivers' standings. After today's performance, Valtteri Bottas secures the championship lead. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
Often my go-to would be a driver who's managed to pull off an especially impressive feat during the race. However, in this instance, I was more impressed by Max Verstappen's solid, clean driving throughout the event.
It's another clear win for Mercedes as they managed to secure the Constructors' title. An incredible performance for the whole team. It's been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action. I can't wait to see what's next.
You could not write this. Bottas leading into the final round by a singular point, and only 3 points back to third position. It is a winner-takes-all situation heading into this final round. Whoever can win in Abu Dhabi will become the Formula One champion. Will it be Bottas, Hamilton, or Verstappen? Only time will tell. But what a race that was by all three of them to bring home decent results from their respective starting positions. Bottas on an alternate strategy, making it work, coming home in second position in the end. Charles Leclerc was untouchable in this race towards the end. He was on another level to the rest of us. But yeah, obviously Max Verstappen, I think he had a grid penalty as well as a bad qualifying, so that really affected his race for the worse, and that was very unfortunate for him. But he made the most of it, and now goes into the final round as a genuine contender for the first time. He's always been there, you know, occasionally getting up into second in the fight, as you know, maybe Hamilton or Bottas had a bad race, but now he is genuinely there in the fight, and if he can win this final race, that will secure the Drivers' Championship for him. So it will be a very tense finale between the three of them, Hamilton, Verstappen, Bottas. Unbelievable. I thought the season finale of F1 2019 the first season was close as we get turned around there. I still can't believe we saved that. But F1 2019, I think it was 7 points across the top 3. I believe that's correct, yeah. And this time, just 3. Absolute insanity. Can't believe it. But yeah, for us, I think in terms of our championship fight, I think we can just about overhaul Charles Leclerc if he has a bad race in Abu Dhabi and we have a very good one. But that would be a tough ask. But we'll see what we can do there. But it'll be tough. But anyway, that is it for this round. So there we have it. That brings the Brazilian Grand Prix weekend to a close. The penultimate round of the championship has come to an end. Now we look forward to the final round. We have an upgrade on the way coming in for then, so that will give us a little boost of pace into Abu Dhabi. We're probably going to be the only team to be doing upgrades, so that could give us an advantage there. We'll wait and see how things go for the other teams. They might, if they've saved their upgrades as well, they might go for one. But we'll see as we switch out and make sure we've got our best engine components in for this final race. We've been doing this the whole time in the background, making sure we've always got the best possible components for each round. Since we did have a bad qualifying at some point throughout the season, we did take a new line of components that's really just made sure that we can get through the season. But I think we really genuinely could have done it without that anyway. Maybe the control electronics would have been a bit close. They would have been very worn, but other than that, I think the power unit durability has been just fine. But yeah, other than that though, there is not too much left to cover. So we will fast forward the time here and hope that that upgrade comes in. It was an upgrade that failed earlier, so I believe there is no chance of it failing now. So that is good news. But we did get a power upgrade from Honda, so that was going to give us another little boost into the final round. So Honda pushing the development all the way to the end here, so that is great to see. And that will give us a bit of an advantage. We're still waiting for the chassis upgrade that's going to come in just in time for the final round. We have a look as we get a few resource points and adapt as many parts as we can. We'll do the final few parts after the next practice session in Abu Dhabi. But there is the chassis upgrade going onto the car finally, just in time for the race weekend. So great work by the team to be able to get that one in, and that gives us a huge boost on the chassis side. But other than that, not too much else left to cover. So thank you so much for watching to the end, and I will see you next time for the title decider in Abu Dhabi. This is going to be a very, very interesting final race between Bottas, Hamilton, and of course Max Verstappen. So let's see, who do you think is going to win the title? Let me know, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.